Good morning, class. This is Mr. Garcia here. I hope you guys are doing great today. So, this is just a quick tutorial and showing you how you guys are supposed to do your assignments. So, today we are making a landscape. And I know some of you guys remember what a landscape is. So, we learned multiple times already that a landscape is when you have your paper in a sideways. Oops, sorry. So when your paper is sideways, we call it landscape. When your paper is like this, okay? So when your paper is like this, it's sideways. Landscape, and then this is called a portrait. So the reason as to why these are called landscape and portrait is because in the portrait style, you normally have a picture of a person, okay? Which is why it's tall like this. You also have, and then on the left side, which is the landscape, we have pictures of like mountains, trees. Okay, it's a picture of the land. So it's sideways, so we can capture more of the image that we want to create. So that's why it's sideways. Okay. So this goes back to when we used to do paintings, uh, and we still use this type of language for when you use photography. You know, it's something that's never gonna leave. So another thing that when doing a landscape is that when something is, obviously when something is bigger, it's closer, right? Well, also when something is lower, it is closer to you than when something is all the way up there. Okay, this is called depth. It's the illusion the artist creates. So that's far because it's so tiny. It's really, really far. Okay, it's really tiny, so it makes it go really, really far. So using this little bit of knowledge that we have, we can go ahead and then start creating our landscape. Okay, so I'm first gonna create my foreground. The foreground is a part of the picture that is the closest. It's before you. So just a few patches of grass here and there. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and create my middle ground. Maybe a little tree back here. Okay. I also want you guys to use different type of textures. And don't worry too much about making things look too perfect. If you're wondering how I did this tree right here, is I just used the letter V and just positioned it around it like this in the idea of creating branches. You can also create a tree by putting in shapes together like rectangles and squares. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add the squigglies going around it like this. Okay. Well, that's gonna make it look more like leaves. All right. Now I'm gonna go ahead and draw in my house over here. And it's okay if yours is not perfect. There you go. Alright. Alright, and as you can tell, I'm over here using basic shapes, right, to create my little house. So I'm gonna use a little triangle, or at least try to, a little bit harder on the computer, for my little roof. And if you want to give more detail to your house, you can go ahead and add like a little garage. This is a quick tutorial, so please understand I'm not gonna go too detailed. Okay. I do want to make a little bit look a little bit nice. There you go. And if you want, you can also have like a little snowman. We just had some snow, and I hope you guys did enjoy the snow. Hope you guys were able to stay home safe. All right. So I'm gonna go for the typical little house right here with little windows. I don't want to spend too much time in the drawing because I want you guys to see what the actual assignment is. So far I've created a landscape, right? I'm gonna have so we have a foreground, which is really close, middle ground, something that's a little bit near, like in between, you know, a little bit far, not too far. And then we're gonna have our background, which for this one we're gonna just do our sky. You can make your background be mountains. It can be anything really. A bunch of trees. You can make it be, again, the sky. It can be water, like an ocean, or just a lake. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use different color. You know, all this color that I have. I'm gonna use different color to have a texture. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is, for example, over here I'm gonna create different patterns. So over here I'm gonna do little squigglies like this. Or actually, I can do a different one. I can do something like this. To make it look like a leaves. Okay, little squigglies over here. So this is exactly what you guys will be doing, is you guys will be creating different patterns. Okay, and remember, what is a pattern? A pattern is something that repeats itself multiple times. Okay, so it doesn't have to just be one singular pattern, so it doesn't just have to be one pattern. It can be different patterns as long as it's something that's repeating itself multiple times. For example, like what I'm about to do on this tree right here is I'm gonna have little triangles like this. Okay, so little triangles, then I'm gonna do circle, little squiggly triangles, circles, and so on. Okay, circles. As long as my pattern continues and it is consistent, that means that it's always the same, it is okay. Alright, you guys will take your time. Obviously, you guys are not gonna make your patterns too small, because then you're gonna have a tough time coloring it in. So what you can do to make life easier for yourself is, instead of making your pattern really tiny, you can make your pattern big enough, like this. Okay, so for this one I'm gonna do a bold line like this, bold line like this, and a little triangle like this. Okay, so when you have your pattern being thicker, now you're having less time to spend on creating the pattern. Okay, like this. I'm gonna, just like a Christmas sweater, I'm gonna have a space in between. And you can fill in that space with other patterns. Like we said, little circles. It can also be just a straight line like this. Okay, so we can use the empty space for more patterns. Please don't go too detailed. You don't have to. This is a simple assignment. It's only for today. Alright. But please, do have fun. Please. Be intricate if you wish. And you can make it really colorful. You can make these triangles have different colors. You can also make it so that how thick or thin your pattern is. Like if it's thin, it's really far, and if it's thick, it's really close. And I will put in some examples of patterns, and feel free to look some online too. So there's also a pattern called hatching, which is when you create a line going one direction like this. Okay, just a simple straight line. This is called hatching. And when you create something of the same line going one direction like this, and then you cross it with another line going the opposite direction like this, this is called cross hatching. Okay, so hatching is when you go one way, and cross hatching is when you go both ways. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add some more little bit of textures. So remember, you can also create like zigzags. You can create it can be shapes, triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle, square, triangle, square. It can be many different ones, like dots, so it can be a lot of dots. Okay, little dots for the sky. It can be like bubbles. You can have what else? Shapes, like we said. You can go intricate by making like little arrows. You can make arrows and then downward ones like this. I will have a sheet that will show you some more examples, but also feel free to look some online. Now, I didn't want this video to be too long, but you guys get the you guys kind of understand what we're doing now, right? Feel free to shoot me a message if you need any help. You can also send me an email if you're still confused about it. My email is art@smsp.school. Okay, so it's the same email extension as your kids. So feel free to shoot me a message. Please have a wonderful rest of your day and please take care. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.